But all this time I don't know where I'm going. But there's this family I knew over there. But I didn't want to call them and tell them I was coming because I was afraid if I tell them that I'm coming, they might say, oh, we are not ready to receive you. Yeah, maybe discourage me. I should say, you don't come. So what I did is a friend of mine now is in Brussels. He plays music. He's one of the best keyboard players, plays jazz and other stuff. He's called Wheezy. Then I told him, because the communication, you got to understand, there wasn't mobile phones at that time. We only had landlines, which not everybody had. You would be having at the old village, like one person with a phone on the whole village and stuff.
We all have to
So
do this one.
even the way we used to communicate, that's another, like, stories for you guys. You can be amazed because to receive like calls from the States, we used, like, these guys who work for the post office, they used to take us underground in those cables. When they go to fix the cables, they open for you, you go underground, and somehow they connect you to call somebody in the States. you call.
Okay, so Papa,
That was too funny.
for me, my mind, and like I'm making this imagination, seeing you in this new environment, seeing different people of different colors.
Yeah.
And remember, your dream was to marry a white person.
Yeah.
So, how did you get to realize that I'm not meant to go for these ones? I have to wait for God to give me the one that is meant for me specifically. Actually, because some youths, like, at our age, knowing that I want to marry an American, reaching in America, he would,
That's the first mission.
America or Canada, actually would begin pursuing the mission. Within a month, he's going to Canada, 2 weeks, a year. So for you,
Because
how
of
did
the-
you?
First of all, another thing about that is that, like, when we think about like those places, like for us at that time, even now, like before you go, you think America is like heaven. Like everybody's okay. But then you get there and you get like the worst news of your life when you see how things happening. Then you go back to reset. Then first of all, it's like your dreams are destroyed from the reality. Yeah. Then you need to reset. When you see homeless people, that's like a reset. Like there was like culture shock for me. Like there's even poor people in the States. So everything we thought that it is from watching the movies, and it wasn't. So that took time. Like you have to find a job. You don't have a car. You don't have papers to work in the country. So you go through the process of being illegal in the country. The realities. Yeah, the realities of like all that takes time for you to reset and stuff. But still, like you said, like you are having this dream of like, oh, this, I wanna, this is my dream to, it took me like what, about like 7 years of not that happening.
Yes.
And I ended up leaving the States to come back here, even without that happening.
Yes.
How did
Yeah.
that happen?
That's why I'm saying that you get, you get there and you end up finding out like things are not how you thought they would be. Yeah.
But when you left the States, did you know that something was like because you were supposed to come back here? You said that you knew that God was telling you to come back here. But did you know something was waiting for you here, or you just knew you were supposed to come back and you just went because you knew?
That's how like obedience also can be. Obedience is good. So sometimes we are not obedient because we think, you know what, how can I go back when,
Yeah.
and then it didn't happen.
In a land of whites.
But before I went, I always knew what I wanted to do and be. So being there for that time, you know, like Canadians and Americans, they are much into community stuff. You know, every community has to have something for the community members and stuff. So those were some of the big lessons I learned from there. But I always knew that those are the kind of things I wanted to participate in life. So from the knowledge I got from that, I thought I was already equipped to do stuff here. Like for me, I've never played like organized basketball. I just learned from watching it and stuff. But I knew that those are some of the things I wanted to start here in Uganda, like sports programs, and basketball would be one of them. And you know, we ended even doing that. We've been having that program for the last 7 years. You know, so you have to keep focus on the inspiration.
So talking on that very point of coming back in Uganda, as you were still a child or a teen or a youth, did you have that knowledge that I have the call of God upon me, that I'm going to be a pastor, I'm going to be a mwalimu, and I'm going to inspire men through sports? Or you just found yourself being into it when you're in the States?
Like I told you, growing up in the church and how we used to get teased in school about it. But as we went on, you know, there come up young people. First of all, at that time, it was hard to find young people in the church. The church was for older people.
Old people.
Yeah. You wouldn't find that many young people in the church. But by the time I left in Uganda, there were more young people coming in the church. And I would use like to not like speak like in big groups, but like one-on-one and stuff. We used to talk about Jesus, share about Jesus and stuff. Even among my own friends, they used to call me pastor. There isn't anybody who knew me when I was young, who is still around, who would say that I'm in an area where I wasn't supposed to be, you know. So what I am right now, what I'm doing, even people who knew me 40 years ago, they know that's what I was supposed to. Because, you know, that's... Pastor was like my name. There's some people who didn't even know my name when I was young.
So you stayed, because you stayed focused
even all
on
boxers,
your
that's
stuff.
what they were calling me until today. So, yeah.
So do you wish, like the way we normally do have it, that I'm a pastor and my child must be a pastor too, must share the same spiritual genes with me, and he or she also has to be a pastor. So you as a papa, how would you handle that, and what would you wish for your son or your daughter to be? Do you love seeing him or her in the same lines with you, or you prefer them pursuing their dream?
I think any parent would love like their kids to fall in the same line. If they are doctors, that's why you see people, lawyers or whatever, some, you know. But first of all, there must be a calling on each person's like life, you know. So it's not like you. But like I said, I would love like seeing my own children carrying on stuff I do, but there must be a call also. Yeah. It's not like something you have to force on somebody. Yeah.
So I'm imagining your daughter Sophie standing on the pulpit, trying to bring out the mwalimu gene out of her.
I'm taking the sports from my
Yeah.
father.
How about Azaria?
Sports area.
Yes, I'm taking the sports
What
area
would
from
you
my
love
father.
to take on
Take on.
from here?
Whatever I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't.
I love his thing of sports, because he told us a story that when he started it, a lot of people were saying he's going the other way around. But I'm encouraged that out of sports we have like a lot of people who have like the guys who have come in to church, who have changed their minds about stuff. And whenever I see that, I'll be like, God, I have to take this from my father, my generation. Actually, I learned something from you last time you were on a podcast, Making Good Choices. And he says the generation now creates that generation.
Yeah, prepares.
Prepares that generation. And I was like, for sports, that is what I'm picking up.
Yeah.
And I'm preparing the next generation through
Through that.
Well, for me as a child, this is what I will take from my papa. I will take the pastor out of him, the mwalimu from him. That's what I would love to take off. Yeah. Like having this type of gospel that you're going to. Mostly God has given you a heart for youths. And remember now, 80% of the world is being influenced by youths. So meaning that you will have a bigger voice to extend to people. Yeah.
And this is like the first time in history, really, like this past few generations, where youths have a voice in anything really, in much, because of social media and stuff. That's all something that's influenced by youth. So, like, that's probably one of the most influential target groups that you could have, where you influence the youths and make sure that they're on track and stuff. Because if you make sure that the youths are on track, then the next generation also will be. So
I'd also take the fashion out of my father.
Fashion
out of my father. Someone, you may even think my father has a factory that makes his clothes and his shoes. Whenever I see him, it's a new shoe on him, it's a new shirt. So I'm also taking the fashion out of him and I'll run it. Yeah.
So did you look at his shoe today?
The first, when I see him, my eyes go down to his shoes because I know it is. That shoe I haven't seen anyone wear.
But check out Azaria's.
Even mine.
Check out Sophie's.
Even mine.
Check out this brand.
This is what they call the father's spirit.
But and you guys are like are lucky now, because of China. You know, China, because like.
So why are you giving credit to
I didn't see that coming.
You know, you can.
China bigger.
So you guys should thank China so much, because I mean, like for us, like growing up, unless you went to a winter market, a matter of fact, for me, like if I went, like the only place I've gone shopping before I ever traveled was Owino. Even after, but Owino isn't fun anymore, shopping and stuff, because now they have buildings. But it used to be fun to go to Owino, because that was the only place you can get at least something original. You know, in Owino you are sure of something.
China simplified
and
everything for us.
But then I would say in the last 15, that China started the fake stuff. You know, China makes the real stuff and the fake stuff.
Yeah.
So now, like, you know, for the cameras and TVs, everybody can shine in their fake stuff, you know. Because so, hey, that's a blessing also. Because for us, like, you really needed to, like, have the money for the original thing or go to original. That was the only choice. Otherwise, there wasn't, like, any faking.
So you'd get only original shoes.
Only original shoes, which
how
are
long-
more expensive.
And how long
If
would
they are
they
new.
And didn't you even say that when you came back from the States, you were like the one person that had the things that people would see on TV, like and those things,
Yeah, like those guys now who like were like teenagers when I first came back in '98. They would tell you like now they are men and, you know, grown up and stuff, or the artists. So they knew me about that they can see whatever they see in the magazines or on TV, they will see with me at that time. Then the Chinese came in, you know.
So, did you come back with
Chinese
this?
came in and this.
Did you come back with this type of an exposure, having the baddest phone around, baddest shoe, outfit?
Not with the way of like showing off and stuff, you know.
Yeah, not showing off, but like, I mean, didn't you pack for yourself such type of nice stuff to come back?
You didn't have to do that because that's what you had. So there wasn't a thing like I have to pack this because that's what you have over there. You know, so somebody would think that maybe you pack the stuff according to like I have to have this, but that's what you have already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Coming in.
yeah.
So someone would sit there and be like, this guy packed his best. He went shopping like for a month.
Yeah, and another thing you have to understand, like for me, like if I had my first shoe when I was like over 10 years. So I had to treat myself. That's another thing, you know. Yeah. You know what about? And then I gave away that first shoe when before I got another one. You got to understand. I gave it away, you know. So being also a giver is another good thing, because if you give, like the scripture says, automatically it comes back to you full measure, shaken over. So yeah.
Like before you had.
So another way of opening doors to bring in the stuff you really love and do is participating in giving away the same stuff.
Well, you know, I've seen you own a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes, and different things like that. But I don't think that there's many like clothing items and stuff, or shoes, especially shoes even, that I've seen you wear that at some point you haven't just given away to somebody just for them to have or something like that. Like, there's not many.
You know, you can't hold on anything like it's too big to give away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then that's you are tying your own self that way.
It's a material.
If you take anything like it's too big to give away, you know, there isn't anything too big to give away. Yeah.
That's a great lesson.
And also when you go to give, always give the best when you are giving. Don't give like if you are giving a shirt. Don't give something you are tired of, which you are not using yourself. Or if you can't, I cannot give somebody anything which I cannot value myself or take it to be like it's it's really.
Wow, that's
always
great.
give the best.
Yeah.
When I buy a new shoe and I have an old one, it's better I give out the new shoe than giving out.
Even if you give a new the old one, it can be old but not
something that
not old and beat up.
Yeah, not something that
and
you would wear.
tired. You know, like this is too beat up. You just give it to somebody else, you know. That's not a good way of giving.
Yeah. So, coming back to what I can also take from my father, I've known this type of a father to son or a father to daughter relationship where there is no relationship in between a child and a father. And a child is having this hard time to ask his or her dad some question, like there isn't that open relationship to say that, Dad, I have a girlfriend, Dad, I have a boyfriend, Dad, I want you to help me out with this amount of money. Like there isn't, to some people, there isn't that privilege to open up with a dad. So for you, how have you managed? Because I've seen the way you balance your relationship with us, your family. It's really so cool.
First of all, with all that also changes with generations. Like for us growing up, unless with those like educated families, like which have like a dining, they can sit on the dining table. I never sat on a dining table in my life because we didn't have one, you know. So we didn't have like that setup of like, we had this place, it's the sitting room, it's the bedroom, it's, you know. So you don't have those privilege of like sitting, watching, like having the TV where you participate as a family. And also I didn't have my dad, I didn't grow up with my father. So I didn't know him. It's not like I'm gonna cry, oh, I didn't have brother. So don't feel sorry for me. like it's so funny, but that's not something like I've never been like, oh, like now I'm getting emotional. I didn't have with that. I take it like that's how it was supposed to be. So I'm grateful that I had a mom who fully participated, who loved us and supported us and stuff. So it was really good. But my point I was gonna make was that according to your question, that if you see me, we can sit and talk and stuff. In the African settings here, in the odd kind of culture of doing things, not many children will go to their father and ask and sit questions. No, they don't even sit on the same table to eat. Like the father sits over here and then the children will be sitting way far, and then you are not even allowed to talk as you are eating. Yeah, you would get slapped for talking as you are eating. Just quiet. Everybody's quiet, not talking and stuff. There was that thing around like the children and the parents. If a father comes home, it's like a third world war. Everybody's running for their lives.
Run for life.
Quiet and stuff. But I think the exposure also kind of helps and stuff, and watching things and wishing to do those things you didn't get. Yeah, and stuff. But I also think like having the sports background kind of keeps you younger, with a young mind and stuff. Yeah, because some people take life too serious. I think people who are not like, who don't have sports backgrounds, even when they are young, they kind of tend to be very mature for themselves, not too serious. Some people are too serious for life. Yeah, they hold themselves like, you don't talk, pastor is here, and everybody gets stiff.
If it's a dad, you have to disappear. The moment your dad knocks the gates.
But like you didn't grow up without your dad. You didn't grow up with a dad around or anything. And then you've been like a great dad to me. Like I couldn't even imagine what my life would be like without you around or anything. But you've never done anything like where you'd be sitting down and I couldn't speak or something. But it's also not where a lot of the time you'll have something where in like Western culture, or especially like America, where parents will try to be like friends or something with their children, which it's good to I think it's good to have like a friendly relationship where you can talk and laugh and stuff. But you have to, like you and my mom have always maintained like where you have to be like respectful and do what, like as you say, and like not just like not try and be like best friends or something, but be like have a loving relationship still, Like I think that's one of the best things that I could say has come out of my life. Where, and
some things you learn as you go on. You don't get to know everything, but you learn as you go on. Or life teaches you its own lessons also, and you learn from those things as you go on. But like for me, I always say like I envy you guys. I envy this generation in a way of like, I think like you should all be inspired, because like inspiration is around you. Like I don't get it when other like, especially the young people, when they are not like inspired, or they think like they are so hopeless and they don't see like any hope. Because when you live like a hopeless life, you don't get inspired. When you don't get inspired, you are not excited about anything. You are not excited about your future and stuff. But when you stay inspired, that excitement pushes you, to take care of yourself, to take care of your destiny, to protect it. But some just participate in things like their hope is dead. They can just live without inspiration. They don't avoid some stuff. So yeah, and like I always like say to my, to some people, like I wish, like I wanted to know if I was 20 in this generation. Yeah, what would,
How would you be?
Yeah,
What would you be dreaming?
yeah, if I was 18 in 2021,
Not dream of
you know, yeah, with all the stuff you guys exposed to, I think it would be like, hey, it's possible. You just have to tell yourself that it's because first of all, each generation is gonna face their own challenges. You got to understand. Like the challenges you face right now, they will be different from the next. So there isn't anything like you're gonna say, oh, life is too hard. Life has been hard, life will always be hard. Yeah.
Jesus knew life would be hard.
Yeah, even the next government won't take care of everything when you get another president. Believe me, I've seen 7 presidents of Uganda. What about
7?
that? Yeah.
Only seen one.
Hey,
In one.
I've seen all those. I've seen 6 plus the current one who has been around 35 years.
Wow.
but what I know for sure that each government will never solve everything. So like when you're a young person and you complain so much about the government this, the government that, with how I say things and how it was for us, I kind of like get upset about that. You still have to be inspired and believe that, you know what, I can make it out of this.
Wow, this was Father Time by the Fire. Hope it's been so nice, and to me it was so fantastic having that feel of being with a dad and your questions being answered. So it's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Send in your question, it will be answered and read out here on the program. Invite a friend, and also that friend must invite a friend. Father Time by the Fire, every Thursday 8 p.m. Tune in.